Hello guys, I like the way the alien interview by Matilda MacElroy have explained such complicated thing like mechanism of entrapment and in particular the debilitating impact and addiction to the sexual aesthetic pain electronic wave, the main reason why the ruling class of the domain do not inhabit flesh bodies. They use the save bodies, the doll bodies instead, so they do not get entrapped. And in this sense, we may track propaganda to use doll bodies, which we actually approach to. We approach to the era of using doll bodies, the artificial bodies, right? And as it follows from the alien interview, it's fine to use doll bodies so that you do not get entrapped. But in fact, in our case, we do get finally entrapped in the two prisons. One prison is the doll body, right? And another is for our soul, our consciousness. So there are many things to discern in the alien interview, but for now it is safe for domain expeditionary force officers to use doll bodies so that you do not get entrapped into the local matrix, okay? In order to expand their business, they hired a big public relations firm and a powerful group of political lobbyists to glorify the idea that life forms should feed from other life forms. They invented a scientific theory to use as a promotion gimmick. The theory was that all creatures needed to have food as the source of energy. Before that, none of the life forms being manufactured required any external energy. Animals did not eat other animals for food, but consumed sunlight, minerals, or vegetable matter only. Of course, bugs and blossoms went into the business of designing and manufacturing carnivores. Before long, so many animals were being eaten as food that the problem of replenishing them became very difficult. As a solution, Bugs and Blossoms proposed, with the help of some strategically placed bribes in high places, that other companies begin using sexual reproduction as the basis for replenishing life forms. Bugs and Blossoms were the first company to develop blueprints for sexual reproduction, of course. Through the next few million years, laws were passed that required that these programs be purchased by the other biological technology companies. These were required to be imprinted into the cellular design of all existing life forms. It became a very expensive undertaking for other biotechnology companies to make such an awkward and impractical idea work. This led to the corruption and downfall of the entire industry. Ultimately, the food and sex idea completely ruined the biotechnology industry, including Bugs and Blossoms. The entire industry faded away as the market for manufactured life forms disappeared. Consequently, when a species became extinct, there is no way to replace them because the technology of creating new life forms has been lost. Obviously, none of this technology was ever known on Earth and probably will never be. There are still computer files on some planets far from here which record the procedures for biological engineering. Possibly the laboratories and computers still exist somewhere. However, there is no one around doing anything with them. Therefore, you can understand why it is so important for the domain to protect the dwindling number of creatures left on Earth. Another important mechanism used in the reproductive process, especially with Homo sapiens type bodies, is the implantation of a chemical electrical trigger mechanism in the body. The trigger which attracts ESBs to inhabit a human body or any kind of flesh body is the use of an artificially imprinted electronic wave which uses aesthetic pain to attract the ESB. Every trap in the universe, including those used to capture ESBs who remain free, is baited with an aesthetic electronic wave. The sensation caused by the aesthetic wavelengths are more attractive to an ESB than any other sensation. When the electronic waves of pain and beauty are combined together, this causes the ESB to get stuck in the body. The reproductive trigger used for lesser life forms, such as cattle and other mammals, is triggered by chemicals emitted from the scent glands, combined with reproductive chemical electrical impulses stimulated by testosterone or estrogen. These are also interactive with nutrition levels, which cause the life form to reproduce more when deprived of food sources. Starvation promoted reproductive activity as a means of perpetuating survival through future regeneration when the current organism fails to survive. These fundamental principles have been applied throughout all species of life.
The debilitating impact and addiction to the sexual aesthetic pain electronic wave is the reason that the ruling class of the domain do not inhabit flesh bodies. This is also why officers of the domain forces only use doll bodies. This wave has proven to be the most effective trapping device ever created in the history of the universe, as far as I know.